But tell me about about the Strait of Hormuz. Just recently, we've had attacks on Indian seafarers, not necessarily Indian ships or Indian flagged ships. 3 Indian seafarers have died. Many are saying that, look, this is because of the blockade. The blockade should have never been there. The shutting off of the Strait of Hormuz should have never happened in the first place. But 3 Indian sailors are dead. I mean, what would you say to them, to their families?
Well, first of all, this is very tragic, and this is not the first time. I must remind you that the Houthis have abducted Iranian sailors almost 3 years ago, that an Iranian sailor was killed by an Iranian missile in the Straits of in the northern part of the Straits of Hormuz in the past. So there are terrible consequences for war, but this war could have been avoided if we had in Iran a constructive regional player and not a player that is trying to build weapons of mass destruction and to control the entire region. So I think that there is a way out of this, thanks to the fact that neither we, nor the United States, nor the rest of the international community are willing to surrender. You know, they were talking very high about this, about that they are going to control and collect fees on the Straits of Hormuz. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen?
Of course not. Nobody's going to agree to that. They don't have the might to impose it. And nobody is going to agree to it because it counters customary law, maritime law. And India has been very clear about that.
India has been very clear about it. Ambassador, many would argue the contrary seems to have happened. It seems like Iran has come out victorious. They can now shut off the Strait of Hormuz almost at will. They are any more closer to acquiring a nuclear weapon, or at least the ability to have a nuclear weapon, than before the war began. And the most important thing, there's been no regime change.
Well, first of all, it depends how much you believe Iranian propaganda, because when you look at the situation in the region, you had before the 7th of October an Iranian regime that was having an army of proxies in the region that was capable of hitting with their proxies any point in Israel or the Middle East. Now you have Hamas in Gaza decimated, you have Hezbollah degraded substantially, you have no longer Iranian rule over Syria, okay? And you have the Iranian 2 existential threats that were looming against us and the region removed. The military nuclear threat, yes, they are negotiating now only the removal of fissile material and the ban of enrichment, but they no longer have the capability to break out or sneak out to a nuclear weapon in matters of weeks like they were doing a year ago.
You're saying
Iran... One second. I didn't finish. And then their ballistic missile program, and especially the ballistic missile industry, is decimated. No longer Air Force of Iran, no Navy of Iran. And when it comes to the Straits of Hormuz, yes, they used it once in order to extort the international community. But what is going to be the price for the longer term? First of all, they have an American naval blockade, and they are not able to export oil. They depend 80% of their budget in exports of oil. So they are lacking now $80 billion of income, okay? In addition to that, all the countries in the region are going to draw the conclusions, and they are not going to be dependent on the Straits of Hormuz in the future because they are going to continue building infrastructure.
But tell me about...
Then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.